Hey, good morning, guys. We are moving forward with our 12th e-learning day. Just a couple of quick announcements before I dive into what you're going to get into today. Grades are entered through day number 9, so you can check those out. Don't be afraid to email me with some questions. I know we've had some with several of you. We've started some pretty good dialogue with some of these problems, and what we're going to see, and that assignment where you guys came with your own problems actually turned out really, really well. And I think that you guys made some calling a mistake good isn't necessarily probably what you'd think, but you guys really were thinking the way that you need to be thinking. And I think that once you make some of those mistakes, you don't make them again. So things were good. And hopefully by the end of this, you're going to realize that there's only so many questions they can ask, right? So, like, for example, if we're going to have a recession, there's either going to be a recession or there's either going to be an inflationary gap, right? There's only two things they can ask you about. They can't necessarily do too much more than that. And then you've got to know the different ways that, in this case, fiscal and monetary policy can fix things. So, one of the reasons why we're spending so much time on this, and if you look around at the right places, you can find information that you need. And that ACDC guy, if you've seen any of his videos, he has a list of, he's gone through and said, what are the problems that they've gone through for each of the last, I don't know, more than several years, right? And so aggregate demand and supply, that's a huge one, right? I mean, it's in there almost every single year. Now, currency valuation, that's unit 6. Unit 6 is cut from the test, so that is going to be out. And so you might be seeing some questions that kind of have to do with that. I crossed them out on the question we're going to give you guys today, and you'll kind of see what I mean. So we don't have to worry about that. And I mean, I don't know. You can scroll through this. You see the website up here. You can check it out if you want to. But anyway, that's kind of where the reasoning, some of the reasoning why we're spending so much time on this aggregate demand stuff. Once we get further, there's also a resource you can use to look up free response questions, because that's what your question is, for the last back to 1999 also. So it gives you some options. I usually pull my questions from there. You're probably not to the point where you want to practice a whole bunch of those things yet, but it is a resource that you can eventually access. Just Google search free response questions, AP macro test. But anyway, so today what we are going to get into is we're going to get into our first main question. And so I'm actually giving you the question from last year, okay? And the first question is probably extremely similar to what you're probably going to see moving forward with the test that you take, okay? And we did one of these before. There's a little bit more added to it as I pull it up here, and I'm going to email you these screenshots too. All right. So you've got obviously several different sections to answer. Notice I X'd one out down at the bottom here. That obviously that is the foreign exchange stuff. That is the currency valuation. I X'd that out. You don't have to do that one. Okay. I actually went further. I'm going to have you do all 3 of the questions. And so the way the test is usually set up is one huge big question. Okay. And then you've got 2 shorter questions. Okay. So you can do this one. This one has to do with the Phillips curve. And then this one, just kind of picking your brain a little bit about the loanable funds graph in terms of that. And so anyway, you only have one quick answer to do with that. So it might take you a little bit, okay, to do those things. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another video and I'm going to solve this problem. So don't watch the second video until you take a shot at this. In fact, I want you to send me a picture of, so here's your assignment. Take a picture of your initial answers for these, okay? And I mean, indicate it however you want. Just say number 1, okay? And then grade your work through the next video, and then we'll kind of see how you guys go. Okay, if you can use kind of a different colored pen and grade it, I don't know, but let's see them. Excuse me. Let's see the mistakes that you guys are making to try to fix those things. Okay, to try to be as concise as possible. All right. So just as a review of what you're doing, you're going to answer these questions. All right. You're going to take a picture of your work pre-hand, okay, before you grade it, and then you're going to solve it and check your work, and with hopefully a different pen with the next video, okay? And we'll kind of see how you guys do, and you'll see your mistakes, hopefully not too many, that you that you make. Okay, so stay tuned for the next video. All right, keep learning. You guys are getting better. And as I've said, the mistake making is part of the process, right? It's part of the process of getting better at these. And I wouldn't say that if there weren't a finite number of questions they could ask. Okay, so it's not like calculus where you make the mistake over and over again, then you get a new problem, right? So we have the situation where, hey, listen, we either have recessionary or inflationary, right? And that's going to affect monetary policy, fiscal policy, one way or the other. There's a finite number of things they can ask. And so if you miss that question once, I mean, it's almost like a 50-50 chance you get it right anyway. And so if you miss that question once, hopefully the next time, okay, this is what happened last time. I got it wrong. This is how we can move forward. So that's kind of my strategy. Hopefully you're embracing it as we move forward. Stay tuned for the next video here. Don't watch it until you do these problems.